Hey, what is good? Today we go over Li Shi, one of the best DPS characters in the game. We go over his best team, how we should play him, his marks, and more. A like and a follow would be highly appreciated, but is not needed. Let's stop yapping and just go right into it. First, let's go over his dupes. Do you need some dupes in him? No, you don't. I think his signature weapon is a bit more of a bigger deal to have, rather than dupes in him. But yeah, it's basically just more damage. P5 is pretty good. I mean, that's like 20% to 60% crit rate. Well, she's also one of the few characters that could get 100% crit rate. So yeah, his dupes are really good, but I think if you really want to dupe him, I think P3 or P5 to just full dupe is a good way, but you really don't need dupes in him. I think his signature weapon is way more needed than dupes in him, since you can get it pretty cheap. You could go for the selector in the event, or you could also pull it, since it's a maximum of 50 pulls, and it's also standard pulls, so that is pretty cheap in my opinion, and it is really good. You just get a ton of crit rate. You also get HP. You will have higher base sets. Yeah, pretty good. You should get it, or you should get it in any way. For his skills, you want to go passive, then skill 2, and then skill 1, and then ultimate. I would personally say then go combo, and then go basic tech, since you really want to combo with them if you can. Focus, passive, skill 1 and 2, and ult. For now, you can also put some levels into combo. His first talent is the reason why you want or should, or some people would say you want to build HP on him. For every 1k HP, you will get 2% of bonded damage, up to a maximum of 60%. And also, for every 15% of Li Shi's HP lost, increases his critical damage by 15%, up to a maximum of 45. It is already tested that HP is not better than attack on him. I would personally say a bit HP isn't that big of a deal if you have it on like a 3-piece. But I would also say that you really want to have attack, crit damage, and crit rate on your bigger ones. But that's something we talk about in a bit. His talent 2 is just that he will get more battle will to get into his berserk mode. So before you play him, you really want to have him on like talent 2 at least. Talent 3 is 6.5% HP, and talent 4 is just that he will get a bit of a heal. Yeah, pretty good. He will lose a lot of HP, and the only source in his kit where he could also heal himself is his ult. And talent 5 is crit damage plus 15%. Pretty good talents. I would personally say Li Shi is one of those characters you want to get to talent 5. We have a look at 15% more crit damage. But talent 4 is also a really good stop point. Yeah, that's all about his talents and skills. Let's go over his marks. You can already see mine is not near perfect, but I don't play this game right now that much. I just make content, so yeah. How do you want to play him? What is in recommended? That is pretty much how you want to build him. And on your third slot, it is kind of up to you. Let's go into the shop and I show you what you can play on him too. You could decide on whether you want to play Shining Star, or you want to play increased ult damage. I personally would say Shining Star is stronger, because we're looking at 9% more damage on your ult, or I think it's 16% ult skill charge, or I would rather have more ults than one a bit stronger one. But that's how you could build him. First, Jade Crane, or you go Shining Star. That's like the one you can decide for yourself. You do want Dragon Sense, and you also want the wings. And why would you ask? I mean, it's only 9% crit rate, but the thing is with Li Shi, why he is so difficult to build is he's uptimer. There always be a bit of a negative side effect. For example, you will get an increased critical rate after dealing damage with a base attack, but it just get lost when you use a skill. And the Dragon one is also, it's just a bit difficult to build him since he needs to have something that is always up. And that's why the Nursling Wings is pretty good, because it is really consistent. And that's why you want to play it on him. And yeah, how I said, then you can decide for yourself if you want to go more ult damage or you want to go with a faster recharge. If you ask me, I would personally say go with Shining Star. Yeah, and Dragon Sense is the second must one. Yeah, but you will also hear a lot of options how you could play him or how you could build him in the Discord. But yeah, game is still new. A lot of people are just trying around. For his substats, you want to have a look on crit rate, crit damage, not HP, how I said earlier in the talent section. You want to build him with attack. I made that mistake too, because HP is actually worse than attack. I know it doesn't really make that much sense, but he does scale much better with attack rather than HP. So you do want to have crit rate and crit damage on every piece, and then you want to have attack or pierce. You can switch around. I mean, if you have pierce, you don't really need to buy another one, since you can also build different characters while you want to get one a little bit better stats. So just have a look. You can get on every piece crit rate and crit damage. That is like the #1 prio on him, since you do get a lot of crit rate through your kit. Yeah, so you don't want to have thunder damage either. Yeah, so just have a look on crit rate, crit damage, attack. Pierce is also okay, and thunder damage is also okay, but a bit worse as far as I know than the other ones. Yeah, now we're talking about his teams, and here are a lot of options you could go. You could play something like Li Shi, Zero, and Ozzy. You could also play Ozzy and Ninja. You can also play Ozzy and Asti. You could also play Ozzy and Logus. That is probably one of his strongest team. You do have a lot of choices here. I think Ozzy is still a bit glitched with her debuffs. We need to watch out for the future if they're gonna fix her, or she is actually intended to be like that, because she isn't applying the buff really often, as far as I know. You do need to pray a bit that she does the debuff, what is pretty annoying to play. Yeah, you can play Asti with her. Why I would say play him with something like Asti or Logus is, since in Multiverse, I can just show you why I would personally say you should, or you want to play him with a healer right now. I don't really play it that much. I mean, I can just restart it. The Deep Zone 2 is where you want to use him, and if your front character is healed 10 times, you will deal a ton of light type damage. And if you can proc it a lot, it's just a lot of damage you're gonna have extra on your normal. So yeah, that is something you could also abuse in Multiverse. But normal, you do have a lot of choices what you could play on him. So yeah, best team in slot would be that one. But Adi is still a bit glitched as far as I know. So that is a bit of a problem. You could obviously play him with Zero. Crit damage buffs, attack buffs, pretty good for everyone. You can also play her with Ninja, because especially if you have dupes on her, since she will give you some really good buffs. First, Talent 2, straight base attack stat on her weapon, reduce the target's damage resistance by 10%, stacking up to 2 times. Pretty good. So we do have a look at some pretty good buffs and debuffs, if you want to say so. So that one would be a team. Obviously, you can play her with Azzy and Ninja too. I would say Azzy is also pretty good, since if you have some dupes in her, I think she can even here. It's not even dupes, but that's some allies crit damage too. What is pretty good. Lasting 20 seconds is also a pretty long number. That is really good. And you can get a lot of crit damage out of here. So if you have a look at mine, I have 10k and I don't have marks on her. So that is pretty good. Although I would personally say her P6 does make a huge difference. So it is kind of recommended to have her on P6. Since her area where you can get the crit damage buff is pretty small if you're not P6. But you can still play her. I mean, I think she's pretty cute and looks really cool. But that's just for me. For his gameplay is not that difficult, to be honest. I will only look at him now. I will make a different video talking about really good teams for every character in the game. So, are you going to play him? Pretty easy. You just spam E as much as you can to build his meter up. And when this meter is full, you can enter his Berserk mode, where he does a lot of damage. Let's have a look. I know the damage isn't really that great because I don't have buffs, but the Q here you could say it, see it, does 40k damage, and on Abyss or like on Multiverse, it even does more damage. And you could also see if you get out of the mode he's in, he will get like unplayable for like half a second or like 2. I'm not sure, but you cannot play him for a bit. So that is something you should have in mind too when you play him. I don't want to kill those. So if you want to press E, you're in his state, and you can also press Q. But let me show you again. And now he cannot do something for a while. If it does happen, you just want to press 1 or 2 to switch on your different character. And then go back to him again when he isn't stunned anymore. Yeah, that is pretty much it, how you should play him. Yeah. If you have any questions about how he plays or how you should build him or teams, you can ask for sure in the comments and I will help you out. That's all for today. I wish you a great day. See you guys in the next one.